They told me not to open that room. I thought it was just superstition. You know, typical old house drama. But that was before I learned that some doors are locked for a reason. My name is Teni, and this is the story of the worst mistake I ever made. After I got a new job at a media firm in Surulere, I decided it was time to move out of my friend's cramped apartment. I searched online for weeks until I found a decent place. Old but clean, 2 bedrooms, cheap rent. When I arrived to inspect the house, the landlady, Madam Helen, welcomed me with a smile. "Ah, my daughter, you'll like this place. Peaceful, no trouble, just one small thing." "What is it, Ma?" "That room at the end of the hall. Please don't open it." "Ever," I laughed nervously. "Ah, you mean like those scary movies?" "It's not movie, my dear. Promise me, no matter what you hear, don't open that room." I nodded, thinking it was just one of those weird Lagos house rules. At first, everything was fine. The apartment was quiet, except for the occasional flicker of the lights. I'd come home tired from work, eat, shower, and sleep. But by the end of the first week, I started noticing strange things. The air around that part of the hallway always felt cold. Sometimes at night, I heard faint scratching sounds coming from the locked door, like someone dragging their nails slowly against the wood. I tried to ignore it, until one night, I heard knocking. 3 slow, heavy knocks, then silence. I froze. My heart thumped so loudly I could hear it echo in my chest. The next morning, I told the security guard, Musa, what I heard. He dropped his broom and looked around nervously. "Madam, I beg no joke with that room. Last tenant open him. He run mad same night." "What? What happened to him?" "Nobody know. Landlady know they like talk am. But since then, nobody go near that door." I laughed it off again, pretending I wasn't scared. But inside, I was already uneasy. That night, I dragged my mattress into the sitting room, far from the hallway. Still, at exactly 1:45 in the midnight, I heard it again. 3 knocks, then a faint voice, almost a whisper, "Open the door!" I screamed and turned on all the lights. Nothing. Just silence. Days passed, but the curiosity grew. I started asking the neighbors about that room, but everyone avoided the topic. An old woman in the compound just said, "Some doors don't open with keys, my dear. They open with blood," that gave me chills. Then, one Saturday afternoon, something happened. While cleaning, I noticed the door was slightly open, just enough for a small beam of light to slip through. I swear I hadn't touched it. I stood there for almost 2 minutes, frozen. Then I picked up my phone's flashlight and slowly pushed the door wider. Dust filled the air. It was cold, much colder than the rest of the apartment. Inside was an old wooden chair, a broken fan, and a table covered with framed photos. I walked closer. My heart dropped when I saw one of the pictures. It was a woman smiling, and beside her was a man who looked exactly like me. Same face, same eyes, same dimple. I blinked several times, thinking it was my imagination. Then I heard a faint sobbing sound from the corner. I turned my flashlight, and there, in the shadows, was a woman sitting on the floor, her face buried in her hands. Who are you?" She lifted her face. Her eyes were empty, her skin pale. "You shouldn't have opened it." The light flickered. The air thickened. My flashlight went off. When I turned it back on, she was gone. The next morning, I woke up on the couch. I thought it had been a dream until I saw dust on my feet, the same red dust from that room. I ran to find Madame Helen. When she saw me, her face turned pale. You opened it. Please, just tell me what's going on." She sighed heavily and sat down. "That room belonged to my daughter. She was married to a man who looked just like you. He killed her in that room and took his own life. That's why I said no one should open it again." I felt sick. I couldn't stay another night. By evening, I had packed my bags. As I locked the front door, I heard it again. 3 knocks. This time, from inside that room. I didn't turn back. I left the key on the table and never looked at that building again. Sometimes curiosity can lead us into things we can't handle. When people warn you, it's not always out of fear. Sometimes it's out of experience. If you're moving into a new place, ask questions. Do your research. Know its history. Because some apartments don't just hold memories. They hold secrets.